Good evening, I'm Camden Cohn, and this is our Sports Ticker. Earlier today, Nebraska Volleyball announced who would be representing the team in Chicago at the Big Ten Volleyball Media Days. Seniors Lindsey Krause and Kennedy Orr will join Coach Cook when the Huskers speak with the media on August 6th. Yesterday, Husker football picked up a commitment from the top recruit in North Dakota. Defensive lineman Cade Petrozak chose the Huskers over Oklahoma, Kansas State, and Wisconsin. The U.S. men's basketball team defeated Germany in their final tune-up before the Olympics today. The U.S. won 92-88, thanks to 20 points from LeBron James, 11 of which came in the fourth quarter. The U.S. will be back in action Sunday against Serbia for their first game of the Olympics. And finally, one Major League Baseball game that's final from earlier today, as the Yankees defeated the Rays 9-1. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Heinrich gonna step in back, little G-belly action as a man wide open. It's Jalen Lloyd. The throw, he makes a catch. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Nebraska serving specialist Kennedy sends it over Vasquez Gomez. Perfect pass, set it up. Fairbanks diving, take Laney Choboy. Bumps it left Nebraska. Harper and nearly drops. Free ball back. Oh, a block back by Becca, and that nearly drops. And a free ball finally over block back by Becker, and that does. Becca Alec, she's putting on a blocking clinic. They can't get it over.
Bryce Williams puts his head down, cut off by good defense by Mbako. Now up top it comes to Mast. Mast dribbles once, gives it back to Williams, shoots a three on the way. Got it again! Another three! Williams on fire!
Jazz Shelley, who has electrified this crowd. She'll take a 28-footer, you betcha! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She ends the first quarter in triple style.
Ball's at a strike here on Gabe Swanson, the pitch. Hit pretty well towards left center field. Going back on it is Graves. Graves at the wall, and it's gone again! Swanson's gone deep again! Gabe with his second solo shot of the game.
Belly swings and crushes this one to the moon. Left center and gone. No doubt on that one. 3-1 Nebraska.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharp and Jessica Cootie on the Huskers Radio Network.
And we're back for another week of Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. Hope you had a great week. We are clicking off the weekends until we get back to a Husker football weekend. And this is Media Day week. The Huskers, Matt Rhule, a couple players are headed to Indianapolis. They will be meeting with the media on Wednesday. Media Day begins tomorrow. It's a 3-day event this year because of 18 teams. So there'll be 6 teams each day. Huskers get the middle day of the 3, and then they'll get back, and boy, it's report on the 30th. It's first practice on the 31st. It is here. Cannot believe it is already here. And the news of the day, Jess, is the Cleveland Plain Dealer. The Big Ten, why, I don't know, does not put out a preseason poll. So they let the Cleveland Plain Dealer has taken it upon themselves to get writers who cover all the teams in the Big Ten Conference to submit ballots, and they put out the polls. It's unofficial, doesn't come from the league office, but at least it gives us kind of a template of what at least people who cover Big Ten football on a regular basis think about the league. So that came out earlier today, and to no surprise, Ohio State's the pick, followed by Oregon. And I think most people would agree with that, followed by Penn State and Michigan. I have no qualms with the top 4. Huskers are picked for 8th. And I kind of take that as a positive sign. I mean, you're talking about a Nebraska program that hasn't been in a bowl game for a handful of years. To be picked in the upper half of the league, I think that's a nice tip of the cap to Matt Rhule on what he's getting done here.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and when you talk about a team that hasn't made a bowl game in a while, but certainly can see that there's some trends and some positive things happening, and then also the schedule helps too. So I think a lot of things factor into that, but there's no doubt the talent that's coming back, the improvements of the defense, that Dangner helped him win a lot of games last year, and then you add a quarterback like Dylan Raiola. There's not surprising that I think a lot of people took notice of some of those positive changes and are giving the Huskers the nod. But yeah, I think that's great for the Huskers to start out there, and by no means will they be satisfied with that. So it still gives some positive news, but also I think that will be something that the Huskers will say, wait a minute, we want to be better than 8th.
You play 9 league games. 5 of the teams that Nebraska will play are picked below them in this poll, 4 above them, which would be Wisconsin, USC, Iowa, and Ohio State. Because the Iowa game's on the road, because the USC game's on the road, I honestly think neutral field, Nebraska might be better than USC. It'll be tough going out there. Not that we can't win. We certainly can. But I have no problem with USC being slighted just ahead of the Huskers in this poll. They're 6, Wisconsin 7, Nebraska 8. I think you're splitting hairs with really those 3 programs, SC, Wisconsin, and Nebraska. It's interesting, as I did a deep dive over the weekend, I had to do some work. I'm an official voter for the Big Ten on some of their preseason and postseason things, so I had to do some schoolwork over the weekend. And so I kind of went through everybody's schedule, and I totally line up with the bottom of this. Boy, Jess, I think Purdue's going to have a really rough year. And they're picked last in this Cleveland Plain Dealer poll. And that's kind of where I had them when I kind of went through the whole thing. I've got a hodgepodge of teams at about 4-8 and 5-7 and 6-6. And then I got a couple of teams at about 7-5 and 8-4. And that's kind of where I have Nebraska listed in that area as well. But 5 of the teams that Nebraska will play, Purdue, Indiana, UCLA, Illinois, and Rutgers picked below Nebraska, and then the other 4 picked above. You and I were talking before we go on the air, and I'm totally with you. I think Rutgers has a chance to have a really good year, year 5 or 6 for Coach Schiano now. I'm glad we got them at home. I'm glad that's a home game for Nebraska because I think that might make the difference. But I'm kind of with you. I think Rutgers is a team to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think so too. And just with some of the guys they got coming back, we talked about some of the toughest games that we think are on the schedule, and just with the momentum they've been able to have, they've got some really good defenders that they have coming back. Some of the all-conference team members, and so I think it's hard to deny that. They aren't a team to talk about. So, sorry, we had someone come in the studio here. Anyways, yeah, so Rutgers, and then, going back to USC, despite the exit of Caleb Williams, I do think that you have to give some props and some credit to Lincoln Riley and consistently having one of the best offenses in the country. And so that's where they got the nod there. And I did want to hit on Purdue, too, because, Ryan Walters was a new head coach, and, you'd think he'd get a little bit of a leeway, but it's almost like with the transfer portal and how quickly teams are able to turn things around, you lose a little bit of that leash with some of these head coaches on turning these programs around.
You think about it, they won the West 2 years ago, and now they're being picked last in an 18-team league. That's a big fall from grace. SC has a murderous schedule. They play LSU out of the gate in Vegas, neutral site game. Then they go to Michigan early in the year. They do get Wisconsin at home. They get Penn State at home, but those are good quality teams. And then they finish the year with Notre Dame. So they have a brutal schedule, does Lincoln Riley and USC. And how about Michigan, the defending national champions, and they're picked 4th in the preseason Big Ten poll. And I'm not disputing. I think that's fine. I think that's probably pretty accurate. But what a slap in the face to the Wolverines. And that, you think they're putting that on their bulletin board. I mean, they won the whole thing 9 months ago, 8 months ago, and now they're picked 4th in the Big Ten Conference.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, but still your head coach leaves, and you'd think that, maybe you could just reload, but you don't know there. You lost some talent to the NFL, and yes, I know they've recruited well, and they've been able to reload in years past, but you don't know with some of those uncertainties. So I get it, too. I get why they are there, and Ohio State's won because you're still, you don't know how life after Jim Harbaugh is going to be, but you'd think that they had a plan for this to be able to move seamlessly through it and been able to reload, but who knows? You just don't know when you make a changeover like that.
And J.J. McCarthy, right?
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy's off to the NFL. He's now a Minnesota Viking. So you lose your coach and your quarterback, who've kind of been the anchors of your program for the last couple of years. Now, I think Michigan's still going to be really good. They play your Longhorns week 2, so that's a tough game for them almost right out of the gate. They get them in Ann Arbor, but you've been there. That's not – Michigan Stadium is not a very daunting place. It's not very intimidating. I don't think Texas is going to have any problems with crowd noise or anything like that. I think Texas goes in there and beats them, to be honest with you. So, but I still think Michigan's going to have a good football team, but I think they do kind of fall off a little bit from that high horse of being the national champions.
Which
I know most people.
Greg, by the way, we talked about this on the show on Thursday. ESPN put out a list of their top stadiums, and Michigan Stadium was like number 4 or something. It's really high. And I said, you and I have talked about this a ton. That was my first time going there, a couple years ago, and I was very underwhelmed by that stadium.
It's just very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very stale. It's just there's not a lot of juice to it. There's not a lot of fire. I mean, they don't do a lot of the stuff with the big screens and the theatrics and some of those things. They just don't. They feel like Michigan football is kind of above that, I guess. So they don't do a lot of that stuff that a lot of everybody else is doing that fires up the crowd. But again, I'm not trying to diss Michigan. They're the defending champs. Kudos to them. But I'm glad the poll's out. I'm glad media days. I'm ready to sit back and watch some Big Ten coverage. Damon Benning's going to join us from Indianapolis on Wednesday after the Huskers meet with the media on Wednesday. So we'll be talking about Big Ten football for the rest of the week. I want to get into one other thing before we go to our break, and we do have Jeremiah Searles coming up. Jessica and Jeremiah put out the latest podcast, Sideline Slice with Searles. We're going to hear a good chunk of that coming up here in a couple of minutes. But Camden had this in the ticker. Volleyball day for the conference is next week, and John Cook's taking Lindsey Krause and Kennedy Orr. What a nice nod to Kennedy to be selected to go to this. And, you know, I think John's kind of spreading it around a little bit. I think that's fantastic. But I'm happy for Kennedy, who has stuck it out. She's had injury situations. She came to Nebraska as one of the top-rated setters coming out of high school her senior year. She's had injury problems, but she stuck it out. She's found a role on this team. And I'm really happy for her, Jess, that she gets a chance to go represent Nebraska at a media day. Yeah, me too. And, you know, someone that's really embraced a role and, you know, you talk about coming in with certain expectations and then that changed, and how she stepped into a role and really embraced it last year. And boy, they just, Monday after Monday on the dig, we just had those assistant coaches come in and rave about the kind of teammate that she is and how she is in practice day in and day out. And then, yeah, I think that is really cool for her. And then they get so much publicity too. So allowing some of the media to get to know some of the other players, and, you know, I'm sure they put some thought into it. And also, there's no need to explain Lindsey Krause and why she's there and the importance that she's going to be and continue to be. And I've just been hearing rave reviews on how she has come off that injury. So, yeah, I think those are two good selections. Really, you can't go wrong. I was asked the other day about volleyball players who would be good to speak at an event. I'm like, you can go down the list. All of them are just absolutely wonderful speakers and communicators and fun to chat with, have great personalities. So you can't really go wrong. But I think those are two great choices. And, you know, you look at Merritt and Lexi went last year. And so you give some other opportunities for some other people to get to go do it. I think that's awesome. I like that a lot. I do too. And, you know, we probably, and JB and Lauren, we probably all didn't recognize how big of a loss Lindsey Krause's injury was last year. And it was masked because the team went undefeated till late in the regular season and then made it to the national championship game. But her inability to play and play at a high level like she's capable of might have kept that team. I don't know. Would it change the Texas result? Maybe not. Texas was on fire at the end of the year. But maybe. I don't know. She has played, you know, historically in her career, some of the best volleyball on the biggest stages, right? That we've seen her. And JB and Lauren both are quick to point out she was playing at a first-team All-American status before she got hurt. Just her numbers, how she was playing. So maybe not. Maybe you're right. Maybe Texas was on just a completely different level. But I also think having her experience and just you know, how well she plays on that stage. But
she definitely, I agree. I don't know if we gave it enough credit, how big of a loss that was at the time, because it was such a magical season and they were finding ways to win and to keep it rolling, and they won the Big Ten title. They knocked off Wisconsin. But I think getting a healthy Lindsey Crosby back is certainly a huge plus for this team.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to talk to Jared Crick in hour 2. He's another one of the new members to the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame, a terrific defensive tackle from Cozad. In fact, he's back in Cozad right now, so we'll talk to Jared coming up in hour 2. So we got a big old offensive lineman and a big old defensive lineman. We're going to the trenches tonight for the program here on Sports Nightly. Husker fans, go check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Get signed up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks pricing on hundreds of items in-store and online. Score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Hy-Vee is an official grocer partner of Husker Athletics, and they're your one-stop shop for making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Go visit your local Hy-Vee today. We're back to your part of the Sideline Slice with Searles. We'll do that next.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska. Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $3,000 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $3,000 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too. Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Woodhouse Cadillac, where luxury meets performance. Discover the latest Cadillac models designed with cutting-edge technology and unbelievable design. Thanks to our streamlined buying process, you can start right now and explore financing options, view our large inventory, and even schedule a test drive, all from home. Come visit Woodhouse Cadillac in-store or online at woodhousecadillac.com and check out all of our current offers going on now.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture. And yep, much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharp, Jessica Cootie with you. If you want to fire off a text, we always like hearing from you on the text line, 402-413-2400. Last week, Jessica resumed her series of podcast reports with the big dog, Jeremiah Searles. It's called Sideline Slice with Searles. They talked about summer. They probably talked about some offensive line work as well. Let's listen in on part of that conversation.
So it's funny, I've talked to a couple of the guys during this time, especially during the month of July, and they both talked about how difficult this time is. And you have not beat around the bush. You hated this time. It's kind of conditioning, right? Take us through what these, especially the month of July, is like before you start playing football again.
Yeah, July sucks. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. I mean, especially as a fat kid, because you're just trying to get in shape. Like, it's no longer about getting fat, bigger, and stronger. You know, at this point of the summer, it's about getting yourself in condition and shape to enter into fall camp and enter into a long 12-week grinding season. And that just requires a lot of running. Unfortunately, a lot of running, a lot of pushing sleds, a lot of just cardiovascular, getting your body in shape. But it's always funny to me, no matter how good a shape I was in, right, no matter how much I ran, no matter how much I did things, first couple days of pads, you're still just exhausted. Like, you're just gassed, right? Because there's no proper way to condition like playing football, right? You can be in elite shape, but there's something about when you're trying to just go and run plays and hit guys and pass protect and move, and it's such a different level of conditioning. I had a coach, I can't remember who it was, that used to say we're callousing our bodies. Right, like, how do you create a callus, right? By lifting or whatever it is, you just keep repetitive until it starts making skin over skin over skin to where it's just a hard body, right? And that's what you do during training camp. You're just callousing your body, right? You're callousing your shoulders, your neck, everything, getting used to getting hit. But getting to that point requires a lot of physical exertion and running. And as a fat kid, yeah, it's not fun. It's not a joyous time.
One of the things that Coach Raiola hit on, and then the offensive lineman I've talked about we hear all the time about, you know, their bonds and getting closer and all of that, and how close of a group they are and how close-knit they are. And even Justin Evans said, you know, working on getting closer. I joked with him. I was like, can you guys even get any closer? But it continues to be a harping point for this group specifically. And Coach Raiola dove into that about how much that translates to when you are on the field together. So can you maybe give us a perspective of what that's like when you are such a tight-knit unit, how that does end up translating and become a positive when you're out there in the fire on the football field on game day?
Yeah, the O-line specifically is the unit within the unit, right? There's the offense, there's the defense, and then there's the O-line. Because we're the one position that has 5 guys on the field at one time, right, in unison together, right? There might be 5 receivers on the field, but you're going to have 3 on one side, maybe 2 on another, right? But when you have 5 guys within a 10-yard box, the synergy between those 5 guys has to be flawless in order to be good. You have to be able to know as the right tackle and have full trust of what the left tackle is doing, not just on an X's and O's standpoint, but from an effort standpoint, from a, is he mentally locked in? Is he okay? Can I notice if he's got something going on? Hey, can we come to the sideline? Can we communicate and all speak the same language? Right? Can we all look at each other and be able to understand, hey, this is the heat of the moment. If I say something to you that is about your play, about what I need from you, better, worse, or whatever it is, you're not going to take it personally as an attack, because I know we're so close off the field and we're boys and we're brothers and we've been through everything. But there just is a level of respect there that needs to come. And that all just comes from being really tight-knit, having the trust with each other, being through the battles off and on the field of, hey, when things get tough, I know I could call that dude and he'd be there for me in a heartbeat, right? And then when the bullets are flying in real time, I know that he can get down on me and I won't take it personal. I can get down on him because we're just demanding the best out of each other. And that doesn't happen unless you all love each other in the room, because you know it, I know it. When things go south, we're the first to blame. right? It's our fault. Quarterback can't be protected. The run game's not working. We're not generating push, this, that, and the other thing, right? Poop rolls downhill and O-line's sitting at the bottom, right? And then when things are going great and you're winning and you're killing it, man, those running backs are smashing those holes. Did you see that pass that he had? Did you see that catch that tight end had? Wow, that was incredible, right? And so you just have to understand when you're in that unit within the unit, you are your only cheerleader, you are your only critic, and block out the rest. And that is what Rayola's talking about when this is such a tight-knit group, is you protect your own. You protect that room. You protect everyone in it. And when you have a culture that's built like that, that's really hard to rattle an O-line room, right? They become the heartbeat. They become the centerpiece of the whole team if done correctly.
I think you've talked about this before, about a couple of the guys you played with by the time you got to your senior year and you had played 3 or 4 years together. It was like you could just point. And you didn't even have to really communicate. You feel like this has got to be a group that's getting almost to that point, and that's really vital as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got to a point where, I mean, it was almost no need for verbal communication up front, right? I had played next to Spencer for 3 years. Quali had played next to Cole. Cole played center. He knew where we all were going. Like, it got to the point where we came up, we knew the play. He'd mic point it, and then we all just knew what we were doing from there. And it's like I said, I was playing right or left tackle, but I knew, because I've known Quali for 5 years, that on the right side, if I'm playing left, he's playing right, I know he knows exactly what he's doing. I don't have to worry about it, right? And then I know that the center's going to get us lined up right. I know that we're going to get the protections right. And this group is going to be very similar to that, right? You got Ben Scott coming in on another year. Ben Hart's played a lot of football. Now you've got some new guards in there. Right, you got some new guards, so the verbal communication is going to be incredibly important. But just knowing that everyone's on the same page and that everyone's going to hold each other to that same standard, I think that's what's going to be really special about this room.
So at some point, when we do a podcast during fall camp, maybe you want to dive in specifics to some of the guys on the O-line. But I did want to ask you about Turner Corcoran, because we've had several conversations about him, and now that you have a full season with Teddy healthy, and where do you move Turner, and you like him at guard, but Coach Raiola told me he's even could play center. He's the guy that is working even at center some. How about that? You like Turner even potentially at center as well?
Yeah, I think, I have a hard path to see Turner being a starter on this front five. I think that Teddy has the left locked if he can stay healthy. Obviously, Ben Hart has the right tackle locked. He's going to be in the mix for competing at the guard spot. I know he's coming off the injury of last year into the spring, but there's probably 3 or 4 guards in there that are only competing for 2 spots, right? And then obviously Ben Scott's the guy in the middle. But as we've talked about year after year after year, depth becomes incredibly important in a football season. Right, we know that the starting 5 that walk out there for the first game are very unlikely going to be the starting 5 that walk out there for every game. So you have to have guys in key positions that are role players that come in and are spot starters in multiple spots, that you have a lot of trust in. Hey, if the left guard goes down, I know I can put you in. If the right guard goes down, I know he can put you in. Hey, if the center gets down and our quarterback of our line's out, I know I can put you in and we won't miss a beat. Right, so I think Turner obviously is going to be wanting to compete for a starting spot, but I think we're very lucky to have him if he becomes kind of the 6th man, utility man, for a guy that's played a ton of football.
Okay, so your perspective now on this, because you played a college football season and then you turned right around and played in the NFL. You work closely with guys that have done it as well. How big of an adjustment is it for teams that go into a season, and now you're talking about an extended college football playoff and how that can affect just how you approach an entire season?
Yeah, you got to start investing more time and more purpose into your body. I mean, an 18-game season is a grind. A mental, a physical. Like, the NFL season is a grind, because that doesn't include the 3 preseason games. And if you make a playoff run, you're talking about playing close to 21, 22 games in a year, right? In college, you're very used to Thanksgiving time rolls around. You're like, all right, get through Thanksgiving, have myself some fat turkey dinner, start preparing for either a championship game or a bowl prep. Right, that's not really the case anymore for a lot of teams. Playoffs, man, and I'll tell you this, just like the NFL, and these kids don't know it yet, but there's something different about the intensity of playoff football. And I don't care at what level it is, high school, it's going to be in college, not the NFL. Everything gets up a notch. I mean, the speed of practice, the speed of the game, the emotions, the intensity, the margins for error, everything gets elevated so much that it can really wear and tear on you mentally and physically and emotionally. So preparing for your season now, that you come out of the gate the right way and you pace yourself and you don't come out so fast that you taper off in November, or, you don't start so slow that you don't give yourself a chance to make a difference in November, is going to be super important for how these teams that want playoff contention and playoff hopes really manage their roster, manage their teams, and manage their bodies.
And to your point, too, earlier about just you got to have a whole room full of offensive linemen ready to go at any point in the season. And, Coach Royalo was talking about cross-training guys and making sure that they're comfortable in all the different spots on the line, and then they start honing in on that position once you get closer to fall camp and during this time. Can you take us through that and just, what that's like for an offensive lineman, just training on every spot and then figuring out, okay, where is this guy best? Where is he most comfortable? How that becomes evident, I guess.
Yeah, if you're not a solidified starter, versatility is your friend. That's how you crack the two deep. That's how you crack an opportunity to get on the field on Saturday if you're not a true starter. And, it can be tough, but for the development of a player, it's phenomenal. Right? It's not easy by any means. Switching sides in the middle of a practice, going from guard to tackle or center to guard in the middle of a practice is tough. I mean, from how I set, how I throw my hands, to my timing, to what foot is staggered backwards, to being able to flip the plays in your head. Like, okay, if I'm on the right side, I'm on the front side, but now I'm on the back side, so I'm on the left side, so now I'm on the back side, and all that's happening. So, I mean, it's really tough to do, but if you can do it well, excuse me, your development's off the charts. And that's when you start to see, okay, this guy's developing really well from a maturity standpoint, and he's getting bigger, faster, stronger. Let me see if I can just leave him at left guard for the next couple of weeks and see if he can take that next step. Or let me see if he can play tackle and leave him there and see if he can really take that next step. And then that's where you go, okay, now this guy, okay, we know he's a left guard, right? We tried him at right, we tried him at center, but like this is his best position. Let's let him stay here, make a home here, develop here, and then hopefully be a starter for us in that year or the following year.
Fascinating. Okay, let's dive into kind of buried the big story here, but change at the secondary coach position, assistant coach, and immediately I know everyone was shocked with the departure of Evan Cooper, but you, when the news started coming out that it was going to be John Butler, you immediately texted Greg and me and said, I really like that guy. I was a big fan of his. You worked with him when you were in Buffalo. He was in Buffalo. So what is it about John Butler that you think he's going to be a good fit here? And what is it that you saw in him that you're like, okay, that's a good defensive backs coach?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to spend 2 years with him out there, and, he got to work with some phenomenal defensive backs in the Buffalo room. You had Micah Hyde, you had Jordan Poyer, you had Tre'Davious Wright, Levi Wallace, right? Like, you had some really good dudes, but I got to see how those guys progressed over 2 years, right? Poyer came to us as kind of a okay player, kind of on the back end of his career, ended up turning himself into a Pro Bowl player and having big money. Micah Hyde came from Green Bay, came in, ended up being a Pro Bowler too. And, he's just very good at getting the most out of his guys, and I think he's an excellent teacher. I think he knows the position inside and out. He brings NFL concepts. He's been around Pro Bowlers. He's been around developmental guys, and he's done it all. So I think Matt Rule bringing him into this system with Tony White, he's going to fit in really well. He's going to bring a lot of different looks and fresh ideas that are straight out of the NFL from a Buffalo team that's been wildly successful for a long time, and just continue to walk right into that. So, yes, as upsetting and as sad as it was to see the departure of Coach Cooper, because I know how much he meant to Coach Rule and how much he meant to this program, I feel like Tom Butler was a phenomenal hire. I feel like it was a great fit. I think he's going to come in here and do great things.
The NFL ties, and being that we see a lot of that within this staff, how important is that to be able to have somebody that's coming in from the NFL and fits, I guess, that approaching it like a pro, and just some of the things that they have brought from the NFL, I guess that's got to be a good fit too, just being that he's fresh from the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, you want guys out of the NFL. You want guys that have been coaching at the pinnacle of the sport, right? It doesn't get any higher than the NFL. It doesn't get any higher than a couple AFC Championships games besides the Super Bowl, right? I mean, he's been right there in critical moments. They've won big-time games. They've found ways to win games, right? He brings all kinds of check boxes of what you want in a coach. And then, the big question is, how does he recruit? And time will tell with that. But I'll tell you this, if you're recruiting and say, hey, I've coached multiple guys that have been Pro Bowlers in the NFL, I'm going to give you that same coaching to give yourself a chance to go to the NFL, That's an intriguing recruiting tactic. That's a thing that if I was a recruit and I was sitting there going, man, I think I want to play for that guy, right? I want him to pour into me of every NFL concept and every NFL tool that he gave guys like Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, and I want them to give that to me so that I can become the best that I can be. So I think that he has a good blend of that, and I think Coach Rule saw that as well in him.
That was a portion of the latest episode of the Sideline Slice presented by Valentino's Pizza, the official pizza of the Huskers. And that was just barely even half of the full conversation. So you can check out that full conversation out now on our YouTube channel and our podcast platforms, wherever you listen. So Searles was in his already in midseason form, I guess, even though it's the summer. He's ready for some football. He was pretty fired up. But you and I have chatted about this, Greg, that he's a guy that has perspective of John Butler because he was in Buffalo when Coach Butler was up there, and so he got a good perspective of what he's like working with his players and the developmental part of it and how good he was in that room. And so Searles is a fan and thinks it's going to be a good fit for sure.
And all the early returns I'm hearing from the players and people on the staff is same thing. John's fitting in really well here. Boy, he likes to talk about the offensive line, doesn't he? He just loves talking about those big boys up front.
Oh, he does, and the defensive backs, too. That's another part of the conversation, too, that we dive into. And he said, I don't think we've ever talked about the secondary as much as we did today. I'm like, I had to let you talk about your favorite position. So, yeah, the offensive line, defensive backs, those are right there even. I'm kidding. But, yes, there's no doubt about it. We somehow, even if I go into it, not planning on talking about the offensive line, some way or another, we get back to the O-line, and we talk about the O-line. There's just no way around it, Greg. There's no way around it.
Hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
That's okay. It's an important part, and they don't get enough love, so we'll let Searles give them the love on the slice every week.
There you go. Love it. All right, good stuff. Again, the full podcast is up for your listening pleasure. Would that be the first episode of this year, or was that kind of the last one of last year?
We're kind of making it a continuation, I guess, because thanks to Val's, they signed on for another year, so we're just got to, I guess, roll it into, I guess, maybe that was the last episode of last season, but we also talked about moving forward, but hey, maybe the next episode will be the first episode of the 2024 season. We'll roll with that.
Can't wait. Love it. Good stuff there. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales, and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. All right, 402-413-2400, the number to fire off a text. Back with more of the show next.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground-truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Shop Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Blair and Bellevue during the Make This the Summer event going on right now. Browse our full lineup of SUVs, like the confident and spacious new Jeep Grand Cherokee L with third-row seating, offering plenty of room for the entire family on your summer adventures. Visit one of our 2 convenient locations in Blair or Bellevue, or start your car buying journey online at WoodhouseCDJRBellevue.com or WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com today. Serving our customers since 1991, this is Woodhouse.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Husker fans, check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Get signed up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks pricing on hundreds of items in-store and online. Score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Hy-Vee is the official grocer partner of Husker Athletics and your one-stop shop for making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Go visit your local Hy-Vee today. Greg Sharp, Jessica Cootie back with you Monday night. By the end of this week, Jess, we got the Olympic Games. The opening ceremonies are Friday. I saw the Nebraska track and field will have 6 former athletes, current and former athletes that are competing for various countries. You have a couple volleyball players. We know that we have Casey and Jack McVeigh playing basketball. So there'll be a handful of Huskers that'll be competing over in Paris. I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, I'm excited. I mean, I always love the Summer Olympics. I like it better than the Winter Olympics, but it makes it even more fun to follow and watch when you've got Husker ties, and there are plenty of them this time around. But I had a schedule, and I know that the communications team's working on putting out something that will be easy to follow on Huskers.com, but I did make note that I believe it's July 27th is a date to really circle, because that's when both men's basketball and women's volleyball play. So you can watch Casey and Jordan Larson and the Huskers for the women's volleyball team there. So that's a big date. But, yeah, it's finally here.
The track gets going August the 5th, and so that'll be the week where a lot of these Husker track athletes will be competing, mostly in the throws. You got discus, you got shot. That's kind of where Nebraska has earned their stripes down through the years, is in the throwing events, and so we'll certainly be well represented. You've got athletes that will be representing the Bahamas. Maggie Malone Harden will be representing the United States, but South Africa, Great Britain, Sweden. So the Huskers will cover a handful of countries. How about LeBron James by the way, he was amazing today. I flipped on the end of their tune-up game with Germany. They were in trouble late. It was tight, and LBJ took over the game late. He's going to carry the flag for the USA at the opening ceremonies Friday night. You okay with that?
I am. I mean, he's a guy that, what number Olympics is this for him?
4th, maybe? 4th or 5th?
Yeah, he's been a big part of Team USA for a long time now, and probably his last, right? I mean, I don't know. Who knows? He he's kind of like Jordan
Probably.
Larson. They just defy the aging process and continue to show, hey, age is nothing but a number, the way that they can compete at such a high level in their sports. But, for him to have had such an impact on Team USA, and I know the guys in that locker room really respect him. And, hey, men's basketball, that's a dream team. It's one of the premier sports, and to give him an opportunity, I think very deserving. Say what you will about LeBron James, but I think he's absolutely deserving of carrying the flag.
Yeah, I think it's an appropriate choice, and you're right. Probably his last Olympic Games. So cool. One of the things that caught some real headlines over the weekend, Jess, was on the women's Team USA. They played a WNBA All-Star team. This was a tremendous game. In fact, the WNBA All-Stars beat Team USA. My Twitter feed was blowing up. This was, I think, yesterday afternoon when that game took place. I saw some highlights later. I wasn't near a TV, but I'm told it was a tremendous basketball game.
Yeah, it was, and just the intensity of it was. I think there's a big storyline right around Caitlin Clark being left off Team USA, also Angel Reese, but they're not the only two. There were some arguments for some other women that people thought should have been on, and the argument coming from the Team USA side, that camp was, we picked the 12 best women's basketball players in the WNBA. Well, those 12 best basketball players that you picked for Team USA got beat by another set of women that played in the WNBA. But I think it's great. I was actually, that's on my list for weekend winners, because I think that's awesome, and just people are still talking about it. And I agree. I feel like probably their approach to it, we've had this discussion a lot on this program, but when you talk about handing the torch over to the next generation of Olympians, don't you feel like maybe you should have added some of those younger players that you could get a feel for how this thing works? But I know I feel like Caitlin has really handled it really well, the whole saga of it, but I think they really did a disservice leaving off a couple of those players that did not make it this time around.
Yeah, I agree with you. She's such a spark, and she's I don't want to like her, but she does stuff you're like, that's kind of cool what she just did there, how she handled this situation. There's a maturity about Caitlin that you don't maybe realize if you just watch her play and then watch her antics on the court. It's almost like she's a Jekyll and a Hyde. There's like two personalities to Caitlin Clark. But there are times I'm like, wow, that's a really mature response you just had there or whatever. But
let's
you're
just
right,
say
she's
we
handled
like
this
her
pretty
more.
well.
Let's just say we like her more now that she's out of the Iowa uniform, right?
Yeah, not wearing black and gold anymore. Yeah. All right, 402-413-2400. We need to slip in the final break of the hour. We're back to Rev of Hour 1 next.
Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to protect against wear and deposits. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99 in-store only. Limit supply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Husker Nation, your women's basketball team is gearing up for another incredible season, and you can be right in the heart of the action. Join the season ticket request list today and guarantee your spot for another year of Husker dominance. Witness every key basket, every clutch steal, and celebrate every victory with the most dedicated fans in the nation. Don't wait. Head over to huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for an unforgettable season. Go Big Red.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Greg Sharp, Jessica Cootie with you. It's a Monday night. Big Ten Media Day start tomorrow. The 6 teams that are up tomorrow, and I mentioned of the 6, 5 of the Nebraska plays. The teams that will go tomorrow: Illinois, Rutgers, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Purdue, and Ohio State. Nebraska goes on Wednesday, so that's a pretty big batch of Nebraska's opponents tomorrow, because we play the Buckeyes, we play the Boilermakers, play the Badgers, play the Scarlet Knights, and play the Fighting Illini. Then on Wednesday, which is the day Nebraska's there, the 2 Southern California schools, UCLA, USC, Iowa, Michigan State, the Cornhuskers, and Penn State will go on Wednesday. So, again, Matt Rule and the Husker players will be running through the car wash. We'll play you some of Coach Rule's comments on Wednesday night, and then Damon Benny will be on the ground for us. We'll talk to him on Wednesday night. 3 days. It's been 2, but you can't do 18 teams in 2 days. It's way too much content. So a 3-day affair now for this 18-team league of the Big Ten. The ACC Media Day started today. That was awkward, uncomfortable, because you got some teams that are openly trying to get out of that league, namely Florida State and Clemson. So it was kind of uncomfortable. I watched some of the coverage of that, but I'll be locked in the Big Ten tomorrow. This is a big week, right? You got media days for Big Ten. You got the Olympics. This is kind of a fun time of year. I like this stuff.
Yes, the so-called slow season is pretty much over now, right? Because this week we have Big Ten Media Days. We have the start of the Olympics, which, as we've noted, several ties to Nebraska athletics that we'll be covering very closely. And then the next week, we've got some fall camp to start talking about. So it is, I feel like this is the last, last week was maybe the last quote-unquote slow week, but it's getting to be the fun time of the year. We'll have interviews all the time coming up here with football players. I haven't seen the media schedule yet, but it's pretty frequent during fall camp.
Practice reports will be coming back. We'll be hearing from the coaches as they get into practice. We will continue our position breakdowns tomorrow night. We'll talk running backs. E.J. Barthel will be with us tomorrow night on the program, so we'll hear about the running back room. We've already heard from 4 of the position coaches so far, including linebackers, wide receivers, offensive line, defensive line. We'll get into running backs tomorrow night on the program. Looking forward to doing that tomorrow. We'll have another position for you on Thursday night. You and Jeremiah brushed on this, that how many more football games college athletes are going to be playing now, Jess, with the 12-team playoff. I'm excited for the 12-team playoff, but it's going to add mileage on some of these guys in a very physical sport. It's going to beat up some athletes as they get into December, but I think November college football is never going to be bigger, with all the teams jockeying for position to be one of the 12 teams. I think it's going to be a blast for fans. Again, maybe not the best for players, but great for fans.
Every coach I think that we've talked to, I feel like almost all of them have alluded to that, the need for, hey, if you got a longer season this year, you got to have people ready to go and have that depth, and guys got to be ready if their number's called because of that very situation. It changes a lot of things of how you approach and getting guys ready to play, and the longer season, you have to take care of your body, which I know has already been a really big emphasis for this coaching staff, but certainly will be even more important if you're going to play an even longer season. There's no doubt about it.
And the SEC wants to limit rosters to 105. Not sure that's the right move. Hey, Woodhouse Auto Family. They are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. 1 down, 1 to go. Come on back.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here. I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Good evening. I'm Camden Cohn, and this is our sports ticker. Earlier today, Nebraska Volleyball announced who would be representing the team in Chicago at the Big Ten Volleyball Media Days. Seniors Lindsey Krause and Kennedy Orr will join Coach Cook when the Huskers speak with the media on August 6th. Yesterday, Husker football picked up a commitment from the top recruit in North Dakota. Defensive lineman Cade Petrozak chose the Huskers over Oklahoma, Kansas State, and Wisconsin. The U.S. men's basketball team defeated Germany in their final tune-up before the Olympics today. The U.S. won 92-88 thanks to 20 points from LeBron James, 11 of which came in the fourth quarter. The U.S. will be back in action Sunday against Serbia for their first game of the Olympics. And finally, some Major League Baseball scores. The Reds lead the Braves 3-0 in the third. The Cardinals and Pirates are tied at 1 in the fifth. The Mets lead the Marlins 5-1 in the fifth. And the Tigers are in front of the Guardians 4-1 in the fifth as well. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is coming up on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Heinrich going to step in back, little G-belly action. As a man wide open, it's Jalen Lloyd. The throw, he makes a catch. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Nebraska serving specialist. Kennedy sends it over Vasquez Gomez. Perfect pass, set it up. Fairbanks diving, take Laney Choboy. Bumps it left Nebraska. Harper, and nearly drops. Free ball back. Oh, a block back by Becca, and that nearly drops. And a free ball finally over block back by Becca, and that does. Becca Alec, she's putting on a blocking clinic. They can't get it over.
Bryce Williams puts his head down, cut off by good defense by Mbako. Now up top it comes to Mast. Mast dribbles once, gives it back to Williams, shoots a three on the way. Got it again! Another three! Williams on fire!
Jazz Shelley, who is electrified this crowd. She'll take a 28-footer. You betcha! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She ends the first quarter in triple style.
Ball's out of strike here on Gabe Swanson, the pitch. Hit pretty well towards left center field. Going back on it is Graves. Graves at the wall, and it's gone again! Swanson's gone deep again! Gabe with his second solo shot of the game.
Billy swings and crushes this one to the moon. Left center and gone. No doubt on that one. 3-1 Nebraska.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharp and Jessica Cootie on the Huskers Radio Network.
And we're back, hour number 2. Sports Nightly on a Monday night. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Wasn't the weather just absolutely gorgeous all weekend long? Rusty Dawkins, who's a local meteorologist here in Lincoln, put up a trivia, a poll on X, said, would you take below temperatures in July or above temperatures in January? Pretty interesting little poll. I didn't go look at the results, but man, I love this. 80 degrees, perfect. You're not sweating. It's going to warm up, I think, as the week goes along. But, man, it was gorgeous all weekend long. Hope you had a chance to get out and enjoy some of that.
I know what I would think in that poll.
You would vote January higher.
Yes. There's no doubt about it. No hesitation for me there.
I probably would, too. Yeah, I probably would, too. But I'm going to go back in a break and look and see what that poll was. We're going to hear from a Hall of Famer this hour, Jared Crick, who was a terrific defensive lineman for the Cornhuskers, played alongside Ndamukong Suh, had a nice career in the NFL with a couple of different teams. Voted into the Hall of Fame this year. We'll talk to Jared coming up here in just a little bit. 402-413-2400. That's the number if you want to fire off a text. Art in Los Angeles says, hey, guys, volleyball question. Do you think they'll have the same captains, or will Coach Cook decide to have different ones? I think, Jessica, the team votes on the captains. I don't know that Coach Cook has much to do with that, does he?
No, it's a team vote, pretty sure. And
yeah.
My guess it'd be the same too with Merritt and Lexi, and maybe the addition of one or two would be my guess of how it is. But yeah, it's a team vote for sure.
And that came out last year earlier because they took their trip to Brazil, and I think they voted on that when they were coming back. I don't know if they've done that yet. They don't start practice for a couple more weeks. They go about a week later than when football gets going. Don't get Coach Cook started on that. He does not like that part of it at all. But I think my guess is it's the same two, and maybe like Jess said, they add one or two more in there and have multiple captains. There's so many good possibilities. I mean, last year's team didn't have any seniors. This year's team will. So you want to try to reward some of those, and I think that's why he's taking Lindsey and Kennedy to the media days in Chicago next week. So glad he's doing that. Well, we've not talked about the Open Championship. I kind of wanted it to simmer down. I didn't want the big dog to get a big head, but he wins again, right? He won our little pool again.
Yeah, he did. I was hoping you'd just skate right by that. But it was a little bit tough for me to watch, just with how tough the conditions were. I know some people enjoy that, but I don't as much. I like to see low scores and, people able to be aggressive and not hitting out of those I don't even know what those bunker things. I don't know. I don't like watching that as much.
Saturday was brutal. It was windy. It was raining on those guys. That was a survivor day. Yesterday wasn't as bad. But, man, Xander put the foot down on the back nine and just pulled away. I was thinking we're going to have so much drama on 16 and 17 and 18. And it was over by the time they got to those holes because he built a couple of shot lead. What an impressive 6 weeks for that guy.
Yeah.
And that was one of Jeremiah's golfers, so he easily wins our little pool. But he was impressive.
He really was. And you think about a few weeks ago, because he's been hanging around, right? And he's been playing well. But if you asked a lot of the betting experts, they'd say don't take him because he can't get it done. And then all of a sudden, now here he is. He won one, and he's got it, seems to be figured out. So, I love where golf is at, where there's a lot of different guys that are at the top and can compete any given major, that it's not just so easy for us to pick a draft. I mean, I know Searles makes it seem like that it is, but, there's a lot of different guys that can compete, and you hear a lot of different names being thrown around for being in contention as well.
Yeah, he's not going to let us live that down. I said to him today, I said, I'm ready for college football picks because we kicked your tail on that. So get back in my lane.
Same. I mean, he hasn't won a single season of college football picks, so he says that he's carrying it over. We'll believe it when we see it. But until he wins one of those titles, he can stick with golf.
Okay, so Xander Schauffele wins the PGA back in May. Wins the Open yesterday. Is he the golfer of the year?
I
mean, Scotty Scheffler's won 6 tournaments.
I don't know how you can give it to anybody other than Scotty, but I do understand that the argument for Xander, but Scotty is Scotty. I don't know. It's unbelievable what he's done.
It is, and he won a major because he won the Masters, so he won one of the 4 majors. But Xander wins 2. Winning 2 majors is really hard to do in a year. Not many guys have done that. But all of a sudden, which before last week's tournament, you wouldn't even have thought that was a discussion. That absolutely it's Scotty Scheffler. He's the golfer of the year because they have a big announcement about this coming up in about a month. But now that Xander's won 2 majors. And like you said, he's been on a couple of the leaderboards in some of the other tournaments that he has played in. You got to kind of think about him for winning that award.
I noticed, I think I saw Phil Mickelson put out a tweet with his support behind Xander being the golfer of the year.
Yeah, I mean, majors are hard to win. And Scotty was on the leaderboard, obviously, this week. He couldn't putt worth a darn. Couldn't make anything to putt. But obviously he had problems at the U.S. Open when he got arrested, or was that the PGA? PGA is where he got arrested. Didn't play real well at the U.S. Open in Pinehurst, where Xander's kind of been right there. So Crypto King says it's Scotty. I don't know, Crypto. I think it's pretty. I love this in the OGs, Jess. We got a little debate because Andy's on the other side. He's like going Xander. Love it.
It still sounds funny for you to say when he had some issues when he got arrested. It's like, did that really happen? Still unbelievable.
Isn't that crazy?
I understand the argument. It's hard. I think because in our mind, it's been Scotty for basically an entire year, for 12 months. It has been Scotty. But then all of a sudden, the last two and a half, Xander has made a case, and I don't know. It's hard. I get both arguments. I do. That's a tough one.
Carla on our text line said, did Xander win the gold medal in 2020? Yes, it was 2021 because of COVID in Tokyo. So he's the defending gold medalist. Both Scotty and Xander are on the U.S. team that's going to Paris to play in that here in, a week or two is when they'll play in that. So maybe that helps. Settle the debate on who the golfer of the year, maybe who wins the gold medal. If it's one of those two guys, maybe that'll do that as well. Patrick from North Platte said, I would say cooler temperatures in July, as you can always add more clothes in the winter, but take off only so much and still be hot in the summertime. And I did look up Rusty Dawkins' Twitter feed, Jess. I'm surprised people would take the cooler temperatures now than the warmer temperatures in January. How about that?
It's recency bias. It's because it's what we're in right now.
Camden, I want you in on this one.
That question needs to be asked in like October or March.
Camden, you got a take on this?
I agree with Jessica. I think the warmer temperatures in January, because, I mean, like, I get the recency bias for sure, but, I mean, it's kind of expected to have the heat now in July. Like, you're just kind of used to it. But all of a sudden in January, when you get the nice week with above average temperatures, melts any of the snow that's left, I think I'd go January.
Good argument.
I'm with both you guys. I am. I'm with you on this, too. But, yeah, it's 56% say they would take the cooler temperatures in the summer as opposed to above temperatures in January. I'm on the other side of that argument right there. I would go give me the warmer days in January. So how about that? All three of us agreed.
Yeah, Searles wouldn't agree. The big dog would definitely lean towards the majority of the cooler days now. But I'm with Camden. It's like, that it's really not that long. I don't feel like that you have hot temperatures, but it feels like a really long time you have cool temperatures.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Did we have an anniversary to celebrate today?
What?
By the way? Do we have an anniversary to celebrate today?
We do. Today marks 365 days that I have been an owner of Sunny. So I got Sunny a year ago today.
I remember when you took off to go get Sunny.
Yes.
That was a year ago?
Yes, it was.
Oh, my gosh.
How about me getting a 7-week-old puppy the week before fall camp? That was brave of me.
That timing, you could question that timing a little bit, right?
We made it, though. She was potty trained by the time fall camp started, so can't really complain.
Yeah, that's quick. All right, love the debate on the temperatures. Keep them coming. Sam said the 100-degree sunny games of the College World Series can be brutal. There's no doubt about that. They are. That is it's hot sitting up there at Charles Schwab Field. I've been to some of those day games up there, and you just bake in that sun. In fact, some of our hotter days of the summer were a couple of those days of the College World Series. But, yeah. All right, need to take a break. Step aside here. If problem gambling, folks, is burning up your money, there is a way out. Help is free and confidential for Nebraskans and their families. No judgment, just help. Visit lifeafterbet.com. We're back to talk to the Hall of Famer, Jared Crick. We'll do that next.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $3,000 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $3,000 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $3,000 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $3,000 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here. I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Woodhouse Chevy, we believe in the power of performance. Whether it's an adventure with the family or tackling the toughest jobs, Woodhouse Chevy has you covered. Woodhouse Chevy offers many models to choose from and amazing features like wireless Apple CarPlay, lane keep assist with lane departure warning, front pedestrian braking, and so much more. Woodhouse Chevy brings you 2 convenient locations in Omaha and Missouri Valley. Together, let's drive with Woodhouse Chevy.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center. It's sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Last week, the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame class came out, and we are delighted to be joined by one of their newest members, a terrific defensive lineman for the Cornhuskers, Jared Crick. Jared, congratulations. What does that sound like, hearing that you're a Hall of Famer now?
Pretty surreal. You know, it kind of goes to show a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, kind of pays off and kind of leads you down some pretty cool roads. So it's an honor, and I couldn't be more grateful. But I had a great support system going through and still do, so a lot of credit to them as well.
Take me back to the recruiting process. What was that like? You signed in your first year was 2008, so you were right at the beginning of the Pelini era. The Callahan staff was before that. What was all that like for you, and what was your world like then?
Right, so my first year was actually under Callahan. So I redshirted that 07 year, right before the kind of changing of the guard. So it was pretty cool. Nebraska actually didn't get a hold of me until late in the game. I was pretty much it was almost a done deal that I was going to go to KU because they were coming off, some pretty good season. And obviously that next year they went to the Orange Bowl and won it. So I was almost, deadlocked going with them. And then we were down in Austin, Texas, just kind of doing a kind of an unofficial visit. And that's when Jay Norvell, who was the OC at the time, he called and said that they wanted to offer me a scholarship. And I forget how the correspondence went for those next couple of weeks, but it wasn't too long after that I kind of realized that I was going to end up at Nebraska at some point, so I might as well just not make the coaching staff any more mad and just go ahead and hurry up and commit.
So then here comes the Pelini crew. Bo, the head coach. Carl was the defensive line coach. I think John Papuchas was in there at some point as well. What was it like playing for that group?
It was a lot of fun. And, that first year, I started out as a defensive end, playing the 5-tech. I was kind of following that same kind of Adam Carricker trajectory where they wanted me to get pretty big and then play on that, strong side defensive end. So that's kind of what I was, going towards. And since I had gained a little bit of a weight and, I was still pretty quick, one day Carl came down and asked me if I wanted to transition to defensive tackle. And, at the time I didn't really care. I was like, well, if it helps me see the field faster, if it helps the team, I'm all for it. So that first spring I gained about 30 pounds. Not all of it was great weight. I was just trying to gain as much weight as I could. But so that first year in 2008 it was pretty sloppy. I wasn't really myself, but then I had a whole off season under my belt going into 2009. I trimmed a lot of the fat, got that back in muscle mass, and I was looking pretty good, feeling pretty good, and I ended up having a pretty good season, earned the starting job next to Sue, and kind of my career took off from that point.
Jared, you mentioned 2009. To this day, I will tell people I think that is one of the best, if not the best, defenses in the history of Husker football. What was it like being a part of that group? And talk about the swagger that the black shirts had there in 2009.
Man, we had great leadership. All across the board. Up front we had Sue and Barry. At the linebacker position we had Phil Dill. In the backfield, we had Matt O'Hanlon, we had Larry, and we had a ton of depth. We were just loaded at every position. And like I said, we just had guys. One guy went down and got Kench, or that's kind of when we started morphing our defense a little bit. So we had all the talent. Obviously, that was there. The leadership was there. The depth was there. We just had everything. We had every intangible you could ask for. And we had great coaching. That was one of the bigger things. Like I said, we had guys who knew how to use our talents. Like I said, my game wasn't the same as Sue's. We played the same position, but he was utilized differently than what I was utilized. And that helped us kind of bring a different dynamic to our defensive line, which brought a different dynamic to the defense in general. And we were able to be flexible in a lot of different situations. So a ton of fun. Obviously, when we were in the heat of it, in the season doing the thing, you didn't really think too much about it. You knew you were, badass, but you didn't realize, how much so you really were. But now looking back, with, hindsight, we're like, wow, we had a lot of great people there. And like I said, the leadership was huge. So that was a great year, fun year. What could have been, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that 1 second here in just a minute. But I think we're visiting with Jared Crick here on Sportsani, newest member of the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame. When people hear your name, I think a lot of people immediately go to the Baylor game. You were so dominant in that game in Waco. Were you kind of in a zone? Athletes talk about being in a zone where they just knew that something was going to happen good from that day. What do you remember about that day in Waco?
Yeah. So the game itself, I was just kind of in a trance. But because you always dream about being a defensive lineman, making a lot of plays. And I remember I had a dream. I don't know if it was the night before the game or a couple nights before the game, but I was essentially, still myself, my, starting defensive tackle self, and I was playing against a bunch of high school kids, racking up a bunch of tackles, racking up a batch of sacks. Didn't think much of it, but then the game came around, and I had a lot of family. Most of my family lives in the Texas area, so Waco's pretty much smack dab in the middle for everybody. So I had like 30 people at that game. Obviously, I went out there with a little bit more of an edge. And it helped that I was going against a rookie offensive lineman. So everything just kind of pulled together. The biorhythms were on point that night. And just a lot of good stuff came my way. So, obviously teammates did their part to help me get what I got. But that was probably the game where, I think I became a household name, if you will.
You sure were. 5 sacks, 7 TFLs in that game. It was amazing. All right, 2008, the team goes to Norman and gets shellacked by an unbelievable Sooners team. 2009, they come back to Lincoln, night game, and you guys hold them out of the end zone. How fond of a memory do you have of that Oklahoma game in 2009 here at Memorial?
Yeah, it was a good one. We kind of in the heat of it, not too long after we ended up winning the game, you're sitting there thinking about it like, well, they're down Bradford. They're down, I think Jermaine Gresham was out. They're out a lot of their big guns, so kind of you had to take it with a grain of salt, like how great of a win was it really? But now you look back on it, you see, Landry Jones. I don't know how many quarterback records he broke there at OU through his career. DeMarco Murray was there. Trent Williams was still there. A ton of first-round talent was still on that team. Just maybe not discovered yet because they had first-round guys ahead of them. And when those first-round guys got injured or, graduated, these, younger guys came in and, picked up, where they left off. So it was a great win, at the time, but also in hindsight as well. When you realize how much talent they had, they were stacked. So that was a huge win. We needed it. Obviously, at that point in the season, we were coming off before Baylor. I know we lost at at home against Iowa State, which shouldn't have happened. We lost the week before that, I think, at Tech, where they had the Pirate. He was up there, just drawing up passing routes I don't think we've seen before. But it was kind of that point in the season where we needed something to happen, and we needed that win in order to turn the season around. We got it, and we went on a roll. Obviously, we wish that momentum would have took us an extra second in Dallas, but it was fun. It was a good win, good for the program, good for morale, and a lot of fun to look back on.
The Matt O'Hanlon game, he was terrific in that game against Oklahoma. All right, you referenced it. You've done it twice, so we got to go to the Texas game in Dallas or Fort Worth, Arlington, wherever it was down there. Jared, I still wake up with nightmares of the end of that game. That one has to stick in your craw, right? I mean, that was a big moment for Husker football, and who knows what the future of the program is like if that thing holds up and we win that game. But do you still, does that one still bother you?
Yeah, every day. And I've tried my best to try to be the bigger man and just forget about it. Like, oh, that was the past. Wasn't meant to be, yada, yada. I can try to tell myself that. But, yeah, like you said, you look back on it, what could have been because of it. If you would have came out of that, Big 12 champs, we would have went to a BCS bowl game, and where I think we would have stacked up well. I forget who it was in 09, Boise State or I forget. But we would have stacked up well, and if we won in that BCS game, that would have stacked us even better going into the year next. So, just to have a Big 12 ring would have been cool. To have a BCS ring would have been even more cool. But, that's something that you always look back and, well, what could I have done different individually? And I remember that game I had my hands full with Charlie Tanner, I think was his name. He was an All-American guard for Texas. So I was just in there trying to fight for my life while Sue was up there just racking up all the stats. But, that last second, that last kick's the ones that haunts me the most. But then you look back and you see what kind of NFL career that guy's had. It's like, well, he's probably the best kicker in the NFL. I don't feel too bad that guy was the guy that beat us. Now, if he would have rolled out like a true freshman kicker, hadn't hit a 20-yarder before that and just drilled a 55-yarder, like, all right. But you got to tip the hat to the kid. Like I said, great kicker, ice cold, and it just wasn't meant to be for us.
Jared, you stay in touch with some of your teammates from that era?
I try to the best I can. I know a lot of guys are super busy, so I try not to be a pest and, bug them unless I really need something. But we got a text group going with a lot of guys. So sure enough, every day something happens where somebody's got to come out and, say something. A lot of times it's a birthday. So I get my phone blowed up, and it has nothing to do with me. It's just guys talking to each other. But so we have that. We try to stay in touch as best we can, but it gets tough sometimes. Guys get married, have families, they're doing their own thing, they move across the country, and it kind of gets hard to stay in touch. But we do our best, but when we do see each other, whether it be at a game or just in town somewhere, we pick up right where we left off in college, so it's always a good time.
You're back in the state, right? You're back home in Cozad.
Yes, sir. Back in Cozad, my hometown. We moved back. We've been back probably going on 4 or 5 years now. After my time in the NFL, we kind of, looked at our options, and, we had a little boy at the time. We wanted to find a place where, he'd be comfortable, where he could be around family, or at least close to family. And we just thought to ourselves, why not just go where our family is? Both my parents are in Cozad. My wife's parents are still in Cozad. All my little boys' cousins are in Cozad. It's like, well, it's kind of no-brainer. Let's just go back to Cozad. And then coronavirus hit, and we kind of stayed put after that. And it's been a great decision. We opened up a little business here, and we're glad we made the move. And obviously having, an entire town with people who know you, watch you grow up, and are going to look out for you, look out for your children, you can't beat anything like that.
Well, we hope that whole group follows you to Lincoln on the 13th of September for the banquet, and then the game on the 14th. Hope we have a good representation from Cozad. Again, congratulations, well-deserved. one of the newest members to the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame. And my friend, you're well deserving of that honor. You had a terrific career here in Nebraska.
No, I appreciate that, Gary, and I appreciate everything you've done for not only myself but Nebraska athletics. It's been an honor.
There he is, Jared Crick, terrific defensive tackle. That Baylor game was amazing, and boy, it was fun to go down a little memory lane with Jared Crick. He joined us on our Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline. They are your trusted auto partner, 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. More of the show coming up next.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. You know, I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. You know, basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Ford SUV season sales event is here at Woodhouse Ford, and it's the perfect time to find a new Ford SUV for all your summer adventures. Woodhouse Ford offers many models to choose from and amazing features like the Ford Copilot 360, Ford Blue Cruise, Sync 4 infotainment system with Apple CarPlay, and so much more. Go and visit Woodhouse Ford at any one of our 3 convenient locations in Omaha, Blair, and Plattsmouth.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $3,000 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $3,000 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Experience luxury car buying like never before with Genesis of Southwest Omaha. Browse our full range of SUVs that combine power and versatility, like the 2024 Genesis GV80, packed with an array of safety and tech features that ensures confidence and comfort on every journey. Or explore our lineup of exceptional sedans that offer unparalleled elegance and sophistication. Get started online at southwestomahagenesis.com and shop our current offers happening right now, or visit our showroom at Village Point today.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres. They're the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharp, Jessica Cootie back with you here on a Monday night after another summertime weekend. We're getting so close to the fall camps opening up for all the fall sports. Football next week, volleyball in a couple weeks. Soccer's also getting going. They've got an exhibition match on Monday the 5th, so 2 weeks from tonight. They have an exhibition match out at Hibner. We were talking about, would you take warmer temperatures in January or cooler July? Stephen Bellevue sounded off, said it's easier to warm up than cool down. I'll take the cooler Julys than warmer Januaries, but then again, I'm 69. Age is just a number, Steve. Number doesn't have anything to do with it. I'm surprised. I mean, when Camden, Greg, and Jessica are all in agreement, I'm surprised a lot of people are on the other side of the argument.
Yeah.
I just am.
I mean, and here, it's one thing for me to have a stance on it because I've grown up in where it is, I don't handle the cool as well, which I am getting used to it. I made a joke the other day that when you start feeling like 30 degrees is not so bad at certain times of year, then I feel like I'm starting to settle in here. But it's not surprising my point of view, but when you and Camden are both, pretty set on and have been around here, Camden his whole life. I mean, to me, it's, I feel like we're on the right side of this argument.
All right, you've been through 3 football seasons here now. What was the coldest game you covered for the Huskers? Which one stands out?
Was it last year's Purdue game? Was that? It was last year.
Yeah, it was cold. It was cold.
It was that, whatever the cold game was last year, hands down. I was miserable. That was the only game that I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Was it kind of damp that day as well as cold? I
think the wind was real bad. But yeah, because there's been, some cold. The Michigan snow wasn't as bad. I didn't think that it was snowy and wet or whatever, but it was not like it's not like I couldn't stand being down there. But, there was a point in that game last year, the coldest one last year, that I was like, I might have to dip out on this for a few minutes and go warm up. The problem is that once you go warm up and then you come back out, it's worse.
Yeah.
So it's almost better.
You get colder really fast, too.
And then I've got to be able to, turn on the mic and adjust the batteries. And I'm, just sitting there shaking. I can't get the batteries out of the battery pack. And because the batteries go through, you go through them quicker in the cold weather. And so I'm having to change them. And I'm just, shaking. And there's a couple times you're sending it to me. And I'm just, my teeth are chattering. I'm like, I can't even make it through this report right now.
If I remember right, Michigan, and we did play in some snow, but I don't think there was much wind that day, was there?
No, I don't think so.
Pretty calm.
No. It was really pretty snow, and it kind of had stopped, I believe, by the time it had kicked off, or by the end of the game, I think it was pretty done. But that one I don't remember being miserable cold-wise.
That was the game that was it Coach Whipple got drilled on the sidelines?
Yes, and then he moved up into the booth. And Logan Smothers, Casey Thompson was hurt, then Logan Smothers was sick, and then Chuba had to come in, then Chuba gets hurt, so then Logan ends up having to play. It was a lot of drama that game.
Oh, man, sure was. We've had some nice days, too. I mean, a couple of our Iowa games have not been that bad, and you think those would be the worst because of the day after Thanksgiving, but some of those have not been awful. 40s. You can deal with 40s. You get down below 30 with some wind, and it cuts right through you. And I think that Purdue game, plus it was one of the coldest, it was early, so our bodies weren't used to any kind of cold weather yet. So it was early November, and we were like, wait a minute, not ready for this year, and November the 3rd or whatever that was.
It also depends, too, on which way the wind's going. If it's going right at your face, it makes it a lot worse than if it's blowing behind you. So, and I believe it was swirling. It was going everywhere that day. It was pretty brutal. I was not ready for that one. Like you said, we weren't really prepared for it by then.
It's gonna be weird for you this year on the west sideline, as Huskers are gonna move over to the west sideline.
Yeah, I mean, although I've said this too, I feel like that's been pretty normal for home teams to be on that side. So when I've covered teams in the past, yeah, I guess for a couple years now, I've been on that other side. We'll see. But, there are games that they go to on the road where they're on the side of the press box. So I don't know how much of a difference it will make for me.
Colorado, we were on the west side. Trying to think where else.
Rutgers.
Somewhere else. Rutgers, you're right. We were on the same side as the press box. Yeah, a couple of them were. Yeah. Remember how loud they were pumping the music at Rutgers? They were like blowing the speakers out that night.
Yes. Yeah, that was brutal. And the way that the teams come on were just not ideal because they're like crossing over each other, and the Huskers had to go like across the other end zone. Not an ideal setup for sure.
No. Not sure when we go back there. I mean, that's okay. I don't mind missing that trip as we move our way back. Big Ten Media Day starts tomorrow. 6 teams go tomorrow. Huskers get the middle day of the 3. I read this off earlier, but I'll do it again. Here are the 6 teams that are there tomorrow. 5 of the 6 that are there tomorrow. Nebraska plays this year. Illinois, Rutgers, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Purdue, Ohio State. The Wildcats are the only ones we do not play tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, when Nebraska is there, you have the 2 Southern California schools, UCLA, USC, Iowa, Michigan State, and Penn State will all be there on Wednesday. And then the rest of the schools will wrap it up on Thursday. Zach in Omaha said, I want to weigh in on USC. I've thought since they announced that they were joining the Big Ten that they were going to have a hard time transitioning for 3 years to this league. They won't be able to match up physically week in and week out. Defenses have been below average in the Pac-12. SC could get ambushed by Nebraska, Michigan, Penn State, Wisconsin, and maybe even Rutgers. Zach, I don't know that you're wrong. I mean, I think that it's going to take those 4 teams a little bit of time to get used to the pounding of the Big Ten because of the weather we were talking about. You kind of set your team up to be very physical, and I think it will take those teams some time to get used to that. And you think about Lincoln Riley, terrific offensive head coach, but he's not really known as a guy that wants to be physically strong. I do think SC will be in for a bit of an awakening week in and week out of Big Ten football.
Yeah, I do too, but I will say this. Searles has always talked about, he was on that team that played the last year in the Big 12, first year in the Big 10, and that first year they were just because of the spread offense, it was a lot easier than that second year, and then it got tougher because then teams figured out what Nebraska was doing, and so it was more of an adjustment the second and third year than it was that first year.
Yeah, I think he's right. Nebraska was a bit of an adjustment for the league, and then it just kind of wore Nebraska down a little bit. In the chat room, Andy says, hey, Jess, you're going to be closer to the Der Wiener Schlinger, which is the hot dog gun. That'll be kind of cool because they always set up over there on the west side. That'll be neat.
Yes.
Maybe you get you a hot dog.
Listen, one of my biggest regrets last year, it was in the middle of a game. It was kind of I can't remember. It was pretty tight, and I was trying, there might have been an injury I was trying to keep note of, and they asked me to do it, and I told them no, I can't do it right now, and then I have regretted it. So I've got that is on my bucket list this year. It's on my to-do list for a Husker football game. I've got to shoot the hot dog gun. So I've got to make it happen. If they did come to that sideline at times, I think it's more so in the second half, but if they're going to be more so on the sideline that we're going to be on this year, I got to get it done. So hold me to it, Greg.
Folks, they have shot that thing into our booth. We've gotten a couple of hot dogs down to the years. That thing fires clear up to our booth, and we're pretty high up. We're on the 6th floor, and they've shot a couple of those things right through the window. Pretty cool.
I'll try to, if I ever get that opportunity, I will try to get you guys a hot dog.
Oh, we get kind of hungry in the second half of those things. All right, we got weekend winners coming up next.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting major Connor Clark with Campus News. For the 7th straight year, the University of Nebraska system is a top 100 patent-earning institution in the world. NU researchers were granted 46 patents in 2023, ranking the university at number 55 nationally, ahead of Big Ten schools like Michigan State and Penn State.
Discover a better car buying experience with Woodhouse Hyundai. Shop online to explore our extensive lineup of versatile SUVs, like the 2024 Hyundai Kona, featuring a sleek design, impressive fuel efficiency, and advanced technology, ready to enhance your driving experience. When you shop Woodhouse Hyundai, you can rest easy with Hyundai Shopper Assurance, America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get started online at WoodhouseHyundai.com today and explore our current offers going on right now. This is Woodhouse Hyundai.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy, from repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Greg Sharp, Jessica Cootie back with you. Final segment of our Monday show. We always save this segment to name our weekend winners. Jess, let's start with you tonight.
Okay, so I'm going to give it up to the Omaha Storm Chasers and the ballpark out there. I got a chance to go. We had Fred Huey on with the Sarpy County Tourism, who are great partners of ours, and we had him on last week. I said I was going to go. I got the chance to go. It was a great evening. You were talking about perfect weather. Saw a grand slam. Storm Chasers win. It was faith and family night out at the ballparks. They had a great concert, and the kids and families got to go out onto the outfield. But just a great outing for the families that were all out there, and a Storm Chasers win. But that was so fun. That was my first time out there. I'm so glad I got a chance to check it out, and a fun experience. And then, but before that, I got a chance to go to Smash Park, which also Fred was telling us about. That's a new establishment that's got all kinds of things. I mean, I have never seen anything like it. They've got pickleball courts, indoor, outdoor. They've got cornhole. They've got bowling. They've got axe throwing. They've got a karaoke suite. Just all the things. Arcade. So all just what a great establishment, a great concept. And so, yeah, I got a chance to check out all of the things in Sarpy County on Saturday. So that is my weekend winner.
Did you happen to notice, because Nate Rohr,
yes,
Moonlights, was he doing PA that night?
He was.
Was he? Yeah.
I knew it immediately. That is Nate Rohr. Yep. As soon as we walked in, I'm like, shout out Nate on the mic.
Yeah, he doesn't do them all, but he does fill in quite a bit for them.
I was waiting for him to do like a strike three, like he does a third down, but he kept it a little bit lower key than he does on football game days.
I was texting with him the other day. I go, are you getting ready? He goes, oh, let's go. He goes, it's going to be great having those 4 home games to start the year. And I think Husker fans cannot wait to start a season at home. Haven't done that since 2019. To finally get a home opener is really cool. But
Greg,
I wonder about Nate Rohr.
This is my first home opener with Nebraska.
That's right.
I mean,
crazy.
It's just wild that this will be the first time we open up a season that I've been here at home.
That's crazy.
Finally.
All right, Mr. Camden. What's on your mind for weekend winner?
Yeah, so I saw this earlier today. So it's a sad story that turned, I guess, a little better, but my weekend winner is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. So their 4th-round draft pick, Kyrie Jackson, was killed in a July 6th car accident, as I'm sure a lot of people know. But so the Vikings are contributing to the funeral expenses. They're having a contingent of people go to the funeral, general manager, coach, defense coordinator, all sorts of people. And then they're also paying Jackson's signing bonus of a little under $1 million to his estate still. So I thought that was nice. And then they're avoiding assigning Jackson's number 31 to another player. His locker is going to be unused. Players are going to have helmet decals and pins. So that kind of thing the Vikings are doing a good job with.
I'm glad you brought that up. That is a wonderful story by an organization that didn't need to do this. As you mentioned, he hasn't played for them. He's a rookie. But to go ahead and follow through with the signing bonus and that type of thing. That's really well done. So kudos to the Minnesota Vikings. Speaking of the Vikings, have either one of you guys started to watch The Receiver on Netflix?
Yes, so good.
I've only seen one episode, but I liked it. It's George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Justin Jefferson, and then St. Mary from the Lions. I like have you finished it? Have you seen the whole thing?
I've seen 2 episodes, but
yeah.
I loved at the beginning how Peyton, because it's Peyton's production company that did the quarterback series, and when they started it, Peyton's talking about the receiver, and then Randy Moss says, hey, let me handle this one. And then he goes into it talking about, I think it's great. I think it's been highly entertaining. So they do a great job producing those series.
It's really good. I'm glad they came back, and I'm glad they just didn't go back down the quarterback route. I mean, I think it's great that they've kind of sprinkled it around here. Wide receivers certainly can be impactful players, and the ones they picked are certainly. George Kittle's pretty silly. My goodness, the one episode I saw, he's pretty silly out there. All right, my weekend winner, LeBron James. He helped bail out Team USA Saturday when they beat South of Sudan. Didn't even know it was a country. We had to bail that game out. We were down like 18 at one point in that game. He took over that game today. He took over the game late against Germany. And as we mentioned earlier in the program, he will be the flag bearer for Team USA on Friday night at the Paris Olympics. 39-year-old athlete that still can be pretty darn dominant. Another guy that is just a number. He's still a dominant player, and so LeBron James is my weekend winner. Helped Team USA avoid a couple of embarrassing losses in the tune-up games going to the Olympics.
They've had some close ones here before. I wonder if they're gonna turn it up a notch, or are they gonna keep battling it out here throughout the entire Olympics?
I think they're ripe, honestly, Jess. I think they're ripe for the picking. I think they can get beat. I don't think the women lose. I think there's a pretty good gap between the women and the rest of the world still. But on the men's side, I think there's a handful of teams that could slip in there and beat Team USA. I mean, Germany had them down late. LBJ hit a big 3 that gave them a little bit of separation in the last minute and a half. But I think they're vulnerable. I think those games will be worth tuning in over the next couple of weeks from Paris. So, but the women, I think, win pretty. Although the women, as we mentioned earlier in the show, got beat by the WNBA All-Star team over the weekend.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the WNBA All-Star team could finish silver. Yeah, I mean, I think they have, it's clearly head and shoulders with the women and the talent in the United States that they have, that they could very easily put out 2 teams that would be probably the 2 best teams in the world. But it's different with the way the growth of the NBA and the players from all around the world that have been able to come in and make their marks in the NBA. Now they're going back and playing for their home countries. It's a little bit different story than it has been in years past.
Good stuff. All right, tomorrow night we resume our position breakdowns. We're going to talk Husker running backs, as E.J. Barthel will be here to talk about that room. Matt Rural is really high on that room. You got the 2 Johnsons, you got Gabe Ervin, Dante Dowdell, Quentin Ives, bunch of names in there. We'll break all that down tomorrow night on the program, and we'll hear from another Hall of Famer tomorrow night, Chris Kelsay. His older brother Chad, already a member of the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame. Now younger brother Chris, who went on to a nice NFL career himself. He's going in the Hall of Fame this fall as well. We'll hear from him tomorrow night on the program. That'll put a wrap on tonight's show. Thanks to Camden for steering the ship for us tonight. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful summer night. We're back with you again tomorrow night. Good night.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.